Hi, I'd just like to send a heartfelt thank you to Laura Jean Pulscher and her incredible family, friends, and team over there in sunny America. She sent me this through the post, and I think I know what it is. This is actually remarkable. This is her book. Now, by the way, some of you are looking saying that's a bit of a thin book, but wait until you hear this. Because this is no ordinary book, ladies and gentlemen. You see, Laura Jean, who goes by the name of Sycamore Blue on YouTube, I'll leave a link to her channel in the description. She is suffering from ALS at the moment. And I always have to say at the moment. You never know what might happen in the future. But in any event, she's suffering from ALS, and if you don't know, that's the disease. It's a neurological disorder that affects your motor abilities. It's a pretty devastating disease. I mean, this affects your movement of limbs. People who get it, eventually they'll have slurred speech, and eventually they won't be able to move their limbs or even swallow. It's a very serious thing. But Laura Jean wrote this book basically using her eyes. I mean, I don't know how to say this in another way, but I'll tell you the full story because it's kind of interesting. I follow a lot of guitar channels. I like to play the guitar, I'm not very good at it. But I like to watch guitar channels on YouTube, and for some reason I enjoy listening to people talking about guitars. Anyway, one of the guitar channels that I follow by the name China Guitar Skeptic, unfortunately the creator of that channel was diagnosed with ALS and actually struck down with ALS not so long ago. And this really rattled me. And it kind of sent me into a downward spiral at the time. And I knew nothing about it. I'd heard of the Ice Bucket Challenge, of course. You may remember that. That was for ALS. I was aware that Stephen Hawking had ALS, but I never knew much about it. And when this YouTube channel that I was following, when I discovered that the guy had basically been whacked by this thing, this apparently incurable disease. Like I say, I spent 3 days just asking myself, how would I handle that? And the truth is, after 3 days, I did not have an answer. But I headed back onto, I think it was that channel or some other channel. And down there in the comments, somebody had said, check out Sycamore Blue, with a link. And because it was the guitar genre, I assumed for some reason that Sycamore Blue was going to be a band. I thought it was going to be a blues band or something. I thought, okay, a little bit of music, and I clicked it. But it turns out Sycamore Blue is not a band, it's a person, and it's Laura Jean. And I clicked in, and there I was confronted with this video. And I could see this person in bed, a hospital bed it looked like, or some care facility. I don't know the entire arrangement. But I could see that there was tubes and it looked like a machine breathing and everything, And then as the video started, I could hear this robot voice that said, and just from memory, I'm paraphrasing, but it was like, I miss food. And if you could eat any of the following, I'd be really grateful. And it was a nice message. It was really beautiful. But I just thought to myself, man, at the very least, we can do something with the voice, right? And so I got in touch. I'd heard that there'd been some developments with AI and voice cloning and all of that. And I said, look, I think I might be able to help with the voice. Is there any chance. I mean, I'll only do it if I've got your permission, but would you like me to see if I can do something and maybe get rid of the robot voice, you know? And she was good enough to give permission. And after that, I ended up, I went on this, and I'm glad, because I'm being a bit of an idiot here. It's sounding as if I'd done something impressive. I never. All I did is I went on a little crusade, and I was basically just wanting to find the Michael Jordan of voice cloning, actually. And this led me to 11 Labs. And as far as I can tell, I'm not paid by them. I don't even know where their office is or anything. But after about a week's research, it became clear to me that this was, at the moment at least, the company who were at the top of this game, you know, voice cloning. So I got in touch with 11 Labs, and I told them about what was going on, and I received a positive response, and it basically just says, can you help out? And they were good enough to help out. Anyway, long story short, we managed to bring back Laura Jean's voice. You know what? I'm going to just show you a video that I put together several months ago, way back in April. This has been an unlisted one for ages. It's just been for close family and friends and all of that, but I might as well show you it. I apologise in advance for the cheesy music and everything like that. At the time, I just get so caught up in these types of things, you know. But I'll explain a wee bit about the video so that you understand what's happening. At the start of the video, you're going to hear the robot voice, okay? Full robot, and with my rubbish editing, you'll see a little countdown, and then it switches to her actual voice, if you know what I mean. And then what do I show? You know, a picture of a mouth, words, I have no idea. So basically, as the video's going, you'll see I scroll back through other videos from her channel, and I'm trying to do a comparison, if you know what I mean, because she's got a full channel with videos and everything, and at the very end you'll see her as she was not so long ago in her full voice, and it's not that she's back to that state right now or anything. It was just added as a sort of comparison. So that's what's happening in the video, right? I hope that makes sense. So here it is here, and once again I apologise for adding in the cheesy music. I can't help myself, but have a look at this.
Happy February, friends and family. I have a fun optional task for you this time. I miss food. I miss it a lot. I would love to enjoy a meal vicariously through you. So if you enjoy eating one of the following foods, please do so and then tell me about it. Yum, food. Okay, are you ready?
Eggs, easy over. Earl Grey tea with milk and sugar. A heavily buttered piece of toast with a slight smear of Vegemite on top. A rack of barbecued baby back ribs. Creamed spinach. Coffee ice cream. A rare small juicy steak. Pan-fried zucchini and yellow squash. A pulled pork sandwich. Crab cakes with Old Bay seasoning. A meat pie. Guacamole and tortilla chips. Pickles. Bananas flambe. Chicken drumsticks, stir fry, a small glass of port, Swiss chard, yum yum yum. If you want to pick one and savor it in my honor. Food is good, isn't it? One sole bloom on broken stalk, displayed where passers-by walk. The loss and the gain, the joys and the pain. Voiceless to the void I talk. I am busy while at rest, ensconced in a big black nest, and from my black birth, thoughts traverse the earth. I am both broken and blessed. Hello, this is a test. This is not Sycamore Blue, and this is not Laura Jane. The voice you're hearing has been generated using AI. Let me say a word without an exclamation mark. Hello, and once more, hello. Okay, now I'm going to use an exclamation mark to see how it affects the tone. Hello, and again, hello. Finally, I'm going to use all capital letters, just out of curiosity more than anything else. So, hello, hello, thank you for listening. I just wanted to explain. Life's hard, but I also believe life is very good and that there is purpose in it. So, everybody else, you get to listen to our conversation, and I hope you enjoyed that.
Alright, so that video was made in April and it's now September. I've kept all of this stuff quiet for quite some time. I do feel slightly embarrassed about the cheesy music and some of the editing. I don't know what I was even thinking of. I think I had some music that I'd purchased lying around. And that was that. But in any event, the reason why I'm showing that now and I've decided to sort of talk about this with you folks is because now, I have to say, we're going into controversial territory. Everything that I'm about to say is my opinion, nobody else's, and I'm just speaking for myself. But there's a couple of interesting dynamics going on right now in the human race. The first interesting dynamic is that the events of the last few years have shown me pretty much beyond all reasonable doubt that healthcare is now hijacked by commercial interests. There's a lot that I could tell you that I'm not allowed to, but go watch Dr. John Campbell and figure it out for yourself, you know? And I think that's a shame. But the other thing that's going on just now, which is a lot more positive, is that thanks to AI, I actually believe that we are at the precipice of an absolute healthcare revolution. We are probably about 5 years away from knowing biology. Knowing biology means no more mystery. It means here's how you got it, here's how you can slow it down, and who knows, maybe even here's how you can cure the thing. Who knows? I don't know, but I'm just saying that as far as I can tell, looking at the logic, and of course I'm just a developer, but I think it's actually inevitable that we will reach that point. And I think it's possibly going to happen within the next 5 years. And I think that developers can get involved, and I'm proof of that, right? And I think that they should get involved. I mean, why not, you know? It's funny, I had a conversation with Laura Jean about some of the software that they're using, for example. And I'll just give you a few things to think about, right? Like, first of all, you know the eye tracking stuff and the software and all of that? How come nobody has built any of that stuff for Apple devices? As far as I can tell. I think that's pretty sloppy of us developers. We can do better. I don't think that people who have ALS should have to use Android. They should have a choice like anyone else. Another question is, I mean, I don't want to go attacking companies or representatives or software if nobody's here to defend themselves. But I've been reliably informed that the leading company who make this eye tracking software, well, as far as I can tell, they charge fortunes. Which is, maybe that's okay. But what's not okay is the reports I've heard that this software crashes sometimes 10 to 15 times per day. That is not acceptable. And yet this is the norm that people who suffer from ALS have to put up with. I'll give you one more example. It turns out that if you have ALS, your biggest fear is probably going to be something to do with breathing. Now, by the way, they know how to clear people's throats and all of that. As long as you've got assistance, we're cool, right? But the big danger is that it's the middle of the night and some event happens, maybe there's something with your breathing or whatever, and there's nobody around to help. Laura Jean herself had said, there's this app. It's actually kind of a simple app. Now, I'm not a mobile developer, but I'll describe the app to you. Imagine a mobile phone that could sit close by, let's say, an ALS patient. And if that person has, let's say, breathing challenges in the middle of the night, an obstruction, or who knows what, they can look at this app, which would be focused on the eyes or on an eye. And then when you look, maybe after 2-3 seconds, confirmation comes up. Do you need assistance? And you can look and you can say yes, and an alarm goes off. That app, which took about 30 seconds to describe, would absolutely save lives. Not only that, but it would also alleviate a massive amount of stress. And there are people watching this video who could build an app like that in their sleep. It would be easy. I know that they're watching. And so maybe it's time, and this is the real reason why I'm happy to make this video public. Maybe it's time for developers to step forward, because we developers, we are very good at not taking no for an answer. You think about people like Elon and Steve Jobs. Elon Musk landing his rockets backwards. It's ridiculous, right? But he's a developer. That's right. He's one of us. And that's what developers are like, right? We don't take no for an answer. We rush towards the impossible. And when people say, that can't be done, we developers say, I'm home. That's where we are comfortable. And if the medical community is all out of ideas, and if the medical community has indeed been hijacked by commercial interest, by big pharma, and all of that, and again, that's an entirely personal position. You don't have to agree. But if that's the case, maybe it's time for developers to step up and participate. I have no formal organisation, no website, no blueprint for moving forward or anything. But there are other people like Laura Jean out there who could do with some help. And it was so easy doing all of this. And if I can encourage any developer out there to just step up and participate, then that'll be a good thing. One thing is for sure. If AI is going to revolutionize healthcare, it would be very foolish of us to just sit on the sidelines and let Pfizer and the gang get their claws into it. We all know how that would turn out, right? Anyway, take care, folks. Thank you very much indeed. And thank you to Laura Jean and all her family and everything. And I appreciate you all. Take care.